Welcome back to FTLG Marathon. Coming up right now, we have Meta with Shadow Warrior 3 any percent. Take it away.
Hello, FTLG. How's it going? My name is Meta. I'm an FPS slash movement speeder of all kinds. I have like 70 different games on my profile. I run lots of stuff. Shadow Warrior 3 is definitely one of my favorites. It's a super fast-paced run, lots of movement, lots of different tricks, and we're going to have a little bit of combat sprinkled in throughout, so I'm very excited to show this off. This is a super underrated speedrun. We have like 5 people on the leaderboard total, so if this interests you, please pick it up. Please learn it. It's super awesome. With me today, I also have my good friend, Mr. Dangerous. Would you like to introduce yourself?
No, I don't want to introduce. I'm just kidding. Hi, everybody. I'm Dangerous. I'm one of the moderators for Shadow Warrior 3, and I co-sign with Meta that if this run interests you, come join the Discord and learn it, because we are woefully bereft of runners for this game.
The other thing as well, so I'll be running the any percent category today. Later tonight, or depending on your time zone, we will also have Rytro, who'll be running... I forget if he's running Doom Eternal or if he's running Shadow Warrior 3.
Doom Eternal.
Okay, he's running Doom Eternal, but he's an all arenas runner for this game. And that is also a very cool run if you'd like more combat focus. All right, let's get into this here. I'm going to give a quick countdown for the timer. It'll be after this cutscene is skipped. So 3, 2, 1. Time has started, and we're off. So normally we would be loading checkpoint here to skip the very start of this sword animation, but it's really lame because it cancels out... oh, speaking of music, silly me, I had this on for practice earlier. That's my bad. Speaking of music...
Criminal the music off for this game.
Yeah, the music in this game is very good. But yeah, when you load checkpoint there, it like cancels out the music for some reason. I'm not sure why. All right, we're gonna do a death warp here. This is, I think, the only trick that involves a death warp in the entire run. But that skips that first encounter. We have also skipped the pistol, which is the first weapon we're supposed to pick up. And that only saves like a couple seconds, but we do it because we'll get the pistol back in the next level anyways, which is actually really great for this game because there's some forced combat. And we skip pretty much all of the weapons, so it's really nice that the game just kind of gives it to us for free. There's a skip here that you can do to skip this arena, which I usually do in my PB run. It saves like 5 seconds.
It's really tough.
It saves like 5 seconds.
It's really tough.
Yeah, and it's not worth it in a marathon setting. 83 would disagree. That's okay.
Well, 83 is also cracked out of his mind.
Yeah,
so
83 is absolute big-time gamer at Shadow Warrior 3. All right, so I'm going to do a skip for the shotgun here as well. We skip literally every weapon in this entire level. Just basically going off to the left here to avoid the trigger, going back inbounds. And there we go. Yeah, because we skip all the combat, we don't really need any weapons for this particular one.
I am done with this macho bullshit.
Dane, would you like to explain some of the basics of movement as I'm going around, you know, like a chicken with its head cut off right now?
Yeah, sure. So, as you notice, that the game is like very much structured around kind of a free runner parkour structure of movement around the level, which means the levels are really, really big. That means that there's a lot of places and opportunities to go out of bounds, like right here. And the out of bounds is a little deceptive because, you know, it's not like other games like, you know, Doom 2016 or other games where you have to like do some special weird tech to clip out of bounds. Typically you can literally just jump onto some sort of weird mesh texture and then climb it just by repeatedly jumping over and over, and then you can get out of bounds, which is exactly how he got out of bounds here. And then you just have to make sure that you hit whatever trigger line is necessary to jump right into this little pocket cut, and that ends the cut, or that starts the cutscene.
Yeah, we've skipped like 5 encounters so far. I'm gonna line up with this little texture right here, and we're gonna do a quad jump. Dane, would you like to explain quad jumping?
Yes, although I'm gonna wait until you...
Oh, that was so close!
Oh,
that was... I was like a millimeter away from that box. I was
so nervous for you there.
I was clenching
okay.
a little bit.
But I am not happy.
So as he
I
climbs a
told you not to
tree
mess with the magic.
and climbs
That
through the
is rule
rocks
number
up
one,
here, I
son.
can explain quad
Everything
jumping. So
bad
quad
that
jumping
happens
is
because some moron
kind of
messes with the
the
magic.
big piece of movement tech that we have that's not like, yeah, I guess not, you'd say, intended by the
bet you don't
developers.
feel all that powerful
Basically
now,
what it
do
does
you?
is
Huh?
we have
Do you?
jump,
Hiding in some
we have double jump, and we
hidey
have
hole
dashing.
waiting for me to save
And so
your
if you
sorry ass from a
dash
horde of
while you're
bloodthirsty
standing at the
demons.
edge of a surface of some sort, the game will retain your status as being on solid ground even when you're not, and so you can do your first jump, and then because this is your first jump out of leaving the surface, you can dash, and then you can double jump, and then you can dash. Sorry, and then you can double jump, and so you get a dash, jump, dash, jump,
Yep.
which is, you know, four jumps, and so that's why we call it quad jumping. And that is not exactly intended by the developers. It's like some weird thing in Unreal Engine where you can the player state of being airborne versus on surface doesn't always kind of play nice, and so that's the
here's
reason why
another
this
good
tech
example
is
right
possible
here.
in the first
Yeah.
place. Yeah.
So yeah, for instance, the developers put that little, I don't know, outcropping to prevent players from just jumping around the arena. But because we get 4 jumps instead of 2, we can do it very easily.
And they've also gone out of their way to find special ways to prevent the player from going out of bounds in a bunch of other spots as well.
That was-
So really,
That was spooky.
yeah, it was a little close, but you got it.
Also, you'll notice that I'm sliding a lot. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Uh-oh.
You'll notice I'm sliding as I touch the ground a lot. That's called a slide buffer. And basically, it's just to save a couple milliseconds every single time you, as you're like coming down towards the ground. Movement on the ground is much faster than movement in the air because you can. Dashing is the. This is so hard to explain at the same time.
I
yeah.
got you. So, like, basically, because dashing is reset every time you kind of touch the ground, you can dash while you're on the ground, so you never lose your dash. And so if you're airborne, you're only going to get one dash before you touch ground again. But if you're on the ground, you can repeatedly dash over and over. And dashing gives you a tremendous amount of speed versus you know, being airborne and jumping around a whole bunch. This is one of the
going for
few
a
fights that we actually have
one-cycle.
to do. Yeah, so basically the trick to this fight is you just you hit that little button, that little yellow button on the wall, and it will send those pistons that, you know, are covered in spikes just rolling, and they just flatten out everything.
Also,
and these
sorry to cut
these
in,
big bull
but-
guys are, yeah, go for it.
This is the only time we use this trick in the game. It's called scroll firing. Do you want to explain what scroll
yeah.
firing is?
Yeah, this is the dumbest piece of tech that did Rytro discover this? I think it was
Yes.
Rytro found it. Yeah, so basically,
But yeah, the shotgun is not supposed to be fully automatic, but we can make it fully automatic.
yeah, but you can only do it for a short time. So basically, at some point in the game, you're going to pick up all the weapons, and once you pick up all the weapons, you can't do this tech anymore. So what you do is you bind. What's the last one? Is the shuriken
I have scroll up.
the last one?
Yeah,
you
the
pick up?
saw launcher. Yeah. Or
Yeah, so-
shuriken, yeah.
Yeah, so we call it, I think it's called the shuriken, we just call it the saw launcher usually. It's the very last weapon you pick up. So what you do is you bind that weapon to scroll up, and you hold down left click, and then you just scroll up. And what you're doing is you're trying to switch to a weapon that you don't have, and so it resets your fire state, and so you can basically just blitz through your ammo just in one go. It's like it's almost like you're just dumping your entire magazine in one shot. I think it's like one shot per frame. It's actually pretty stupid, and by doing that you can clear out some of those bigger enemies much faster than if you were to, you know, fight them the old-fashioned way.
What the
Yep.
hell's
And
going
it's
on
super useful in all arenas, and it's used exactly one time in any percent. And that's only if
Yep.
you don't get the 2 cycle. If you get the 2 cycle, you don't see it at all in any percent. Yeah, that was never gonna work. That's okay.
Yeah, we better
And then
bail.
once you get the
That thing looks
shuriken,
like
the
a
saw
G-string
launcher,
trying
you
to
can't
hold
do it
back
anymore
last night's
because then
curry.
you're actually switching to a weapon that you have, and so the game will actually, you know, switch to that weapon instead of resetting your state.
Yeah,
Which is
so
annoying, but
that's-
it's still cool to do the one time you can.
that's one negative thing, even though there are a lot of positive things of like the game just giving you all the weapons, like if you miss them. Yeah. All right. There's a lot of positives that come out.
Yeah.
Yeah, this run's got a good mix of combat and out of bounds platform traversal.
I guess I grew up.
I still do not understand.
All right. So
And then
I'm just gonna come up here, and there's an encounter in there, and we're just gonna skip it.
Because I fought that dragon and it kicked my ass. I lost my mojo,
There's
man.
tons of areas where the
Mozilla.
developers just left like
I had
this
a chance for
tiny
some
little
payback.
bit of collision sticking out. It's like just enough to
Holy sh!
land on.
You did that really well. Don't be fooled. That's actually a pretty hard bit of platforming because the problem with
Everybody
Wang
has
is
one now, man.
because this game is
It's
like so
almost like
parkour focused.
mandatory.
When you're airborne, he's extremely hard to control, like going forward and backward, because they kind of just expect you to hold forward.
Oh,
and,
sorry. For
you know,
this is
go.
another one-timer.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I failed it, but now. Uh-oh. I think my game might be crashing.
Uh-oh.
This is new.
Oh no.
That's never happened before. Okay, if I click really quickly here, I can just sort of fly through the saw blades and no problem. As you can see, those saw blades can kill you. But if you, basically you override, I don't know, the death trigger or whatever. What is happening? My game is
Not
like
really.
dying.
No.
There we go. Oh
It
boy.
looks okay.
It's like struggling
Yeah,
a
and
little
I've
bit,
got
but
eyes
it's okay.
and a
It's all
pretty
good.
well-developed
We're gonna get there.
fight-or-flight response.
And there's
Though
going to
I
be
do have
another
more fight than
one-timer
flight
right
in me.
here. We'll do something similar later, but I'm just going to tap my weapon wheel, and I can all of a sudden walk with this gun. You're not supposed to be able to walk with this, ever. But yeah, you just kind of open the weapon wheel and close it, or basically just tap the key that is required. And you can just start walking with it. There's a similar trick that we'll do later on in Chapter 10, but it works a little
Not
bit.
really.
Obviously, we'll
I've been too
explain that
busy
when we
killing
get
them.
And that's also the reason why we skip all the weapons, earlier in the game, is because picking them up is, you're locked in place
That is
until
fucked up.
you play out that whole animation, and that is slow. And so we skip those. But in this case, we can't really skip this one, so that's
Yeah,
where
the weapon there
weapon
is-
wheel tech comes in.
It's tied to a trigger,
Yep.
so you have to get it on. But it's the only one.
Which is annoying.
Would you
Actually,
look at
like,
that
I was
view?
super worried about early game, like, of anything. I was worried about
What was it
choking
like
her.
being dead?
This has been really good.
You did the grapple there. I was hoping you would do the patented Sin
Oh, the little whoopie wop?
roof walk that saves half a second and can kill the entire run.
Done,
Yeah.
baby. New
does
catchphrase.
Does it even save half a second?
I have no idea.
know if it has. Yeah. So this is going to be, I think, the only implementation. There's another one-timer of what we call a snapple.
I'm sure there's some demonic logic
So-
to it.
What,
Something to
what
do
you're
with, like,
doing here is
demon-
you're supposed to do that
X-Men?
fight, and then that purple vine turns yellow, and you can shoot it, and then you get access to a grapple point. But what you can do is grab, snap onto a grapple point while you're stuck behind an object, and the game will do some weird shenanigans where it, like, triples your velocity, or I'm not even sure what's really going
It's
on
basically
there. but-
like it's trying to pull you towards the grapple point, but because you're stuck behind something, your velocity is just building and building and building, and eventually it's just like, okay, you know what, fine. Here you go.
Yeah, it doesn't.
And it just
doesn't in
lets
a
you
way
go.
that. Yeah, it doesn't in a way where it doesn't like it doesn't just like if you were to do a normal grapple on a normal grapple point, you get X amount of velocity. But if you do a snapple where you get stuck, it builds it builds even more velocity, so you get launched even farther and even higher. It's super weird why it does that, but that's the reason why that tech works.
Yeah.
And that used to be in the run all over the place until reroutes made it not a thing anymore, sadly. Because I like
Okay.
snapples.
Time
Those
to
are
find
fun.
the
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Who wants some?
It's really interesting how many like one-shot bits of tech there is.
Or you
I never really realized until I've been explaining, like, oh yeah, this happens one time in the entire run. We've done that like 6 times so far.
I still don't
Because
get
it
it,
used to
OG.
be like a lot of these
I thought you
little
were
bits
dead.
of tech, like
I even
Snapple
built
and
a small
stuff, were
memorial
in the
with
run a
pictures
lot
and
more.
flowers and action
And
figures and
then
shit.
I don't know what happened, but eventually I think it was because we got the collision viewer to start working. We were able to like see, oh, we can jump onto this invisible wall right here, and then that obsoleted a lot of tech that we were using beforehand.
There's a little thing here that you can stand on instead of getting on the wall run bit, and you can just kind of climb collision. And we're just gonna, you know, climb through the vines, because why not?
A lot of holes in vines for some reason. Yeah, the soundtrack is so good.
All right, so here there's a bit of... Oh, I'm gonna go back, actually.
Oh!
And scabies.
All
if
right,
you're
so
not
there's a bit
careful.
of
Okay,
collision
there you
here
go.
that extends sort of like to the right, and we can stand on it. And I'm gonna get on this rock. We're gonna do a quad jump and land on this, which lets us not even start the arena. Let's go under, up, and over, and we're already.
Dude,
at-
that was pro. That was pro. I had so much trouble with that trick when I was learning this.
I've had some practice.
A little bit. You stuck with this run much longer than most of the runs you stick with.
Have you ever considered talking?
Also, that's the only time we use Chi Blast
like
in the
letting
entire
my
run.
weapon do the
Chi Blast is used all the time as an instant stagger in like all arenas, but it's really only used as a safety strat there, just so we don't get slapped. Oh, this is... There's some really weird like out of bounds layers here. I don't even know how to
Yeah.
explain it, but there we go.
This part's really tough. I had a lot of trouble with this climb. It's like once you're out of the rock, you're fine. Climbing's easy, but it's like getting onto that spot is super weird.
Okay, we're good. We're good. We're good. I was getting a
did that faster
little
than I ever
worried, but and just drop in through a hole at the end of the level. All right.
Very nice.
Okay, so I'll explain something else here that we've been doing pretty much the whole time. There's sort of two different actions on a wall run that I call wall boosting, which is a little weird, but it makes sense for both, trust me. Basically, you gain speed entering a wall run state
Hey,
and leaving a wall
the
run
dragon
state.
lays
So if you
eggs,
have a really long
doesn't it
wall
mean it
run,
kinda needs a, you know,
you want to be
sperm
like
donor?
basically
Or
bouncing
am I
on and
overthinking
off of it to
Yeah,
get as
you're
much
overthinking
speed as possible. And that's called the wall boost. However, there's also another kind of wall boost, which has to do something with like where the game is automatically like shoving you off of the wall. So like at the end of it, the game automatically wants to like take you out of the wall run state. And if you try to manually leave the wall run state at the same time as it's automatically leaving the wall run state, you'll get like a huge burst of speed. And I'm hoping we'll get at least one of them in this run, but they're pretty hard to get.
And not to toot my own horn, but I was the one who discovered that, although it was completely on accident because I had no idea how I did that.
Sounds about right. All right, so yeah, I'm upgrading the shotgun here so that we can get the
OG, if your little
legitimate
scheme
full
backfires,
auto fire, which is
do you
actually
even have a
slower
plan
than
B?
our glitched full auto fire. And also upgrade the Crimson Bull just to get some
I
extra
just
ammo,
hope you know what you're doing, pal.
because the Crimson Bull is very, very good.
That is the grenade launcher for
Yes.
those that don't know the terminology of the weapons.
I have no idea. I just imagine they all look like Monaco.
We're getting
And we're about to enter a boss fight. And Dane, would you be so
How do you
kind
know?
as to explain the boss fight and explain katana slashing and, you know, all that kind of
Oh
stuff?
yeah.
Sure. So this boss fight that we are going into is called the Ancient Chicken. Just roll with that. Don't call it anything else. It's called the Ancient Chicken. Definitely don't look at the top of your screen when the health meter shows up. It doesn't matter. Anyway, so yeah. So there's a bit of tech he's going to do here. This is a pretty standard animation cancel kind of tech that you'll see in a lot of combat games, where he's going to do a katana slash right after he fires, and that's going to cancel out any kind of reloading animation and allows you to
I got a bad feeling about this.
kind of get yourself back to a firing state very quickly. It's pretty much the same thing that they do in BioShock,
know,
where
Hoji.
they
Some
switch
chickens
to a
still run
plasmid
around
and then
after
switch
you
back
cut
to a
their heads
weapon,
off.
and they can like drop all the a bunch of proximity mines on Fontaine like all at once. It's the same idea here. You slash to cancel out your Crimson Bull, and you can fire a ton of grenades back to back to back. And I mean, you saw how fast he did that that first phase, and that's not even the fastest you can do when you watch 83 do it. Just
Or Rytro.
or
Why am I firing? This is I just wasted 3 bullets.
You take down the ancient chicken, and then phase 2 starts, and you have to fight both halves of the chicken, and then you have to just deplete its health bar again. The nice thing is both parts share the health bar, so you can attack just one of them and beat it this way.
Yeah, so I'm kind of just picking my target, like whichever kind of works out the best for me. I'm sure that those like 83 and Rytro have an exact route for this fight. I just kind of go where the wind takes me.
Yeah. And fun fact, if you go too fast during this fight, I believe it's that phase, right? Or no, it's the first phase. If you go too fast during the first phase, you can actually soft lock this fight. Because for whatever reason, I guess they don't expect you to beat it that fast, and so
this fight, it's a lot better on current patch. But this fight, like on the initial launch patch, had so many different soft locks.
it
It
was
was ridiculous.
bad, yeah. I think I soft locked my casual playthrough too, if I'm not mistaken.
Going for the advanced strat here because I've been getting.
This is the worst. This was the worst skip in like when I was learning it, and everybody was like, just run it inbounds like normal because it only loses like 10 seconds if you do this because like basically if you go too far out you hit a death plane. If you stay too far in you'll fall on the wrong side of an invisible wall, so you have to Goldilocks this really tight jump to land on this rock.
Or this tree branch, which is so much better.
Or this tree branch.
But it's a
Yeah.
lot more precise.
Yeah, this is the part of the skip that you actually have to do if you want to skip the level, because jumping to here saves about, is it like 4 minutes of gameplay?
Definitely not 4
it's
minutes, because this is basically you just slide down the entire mountain. That's like the whole casual.
Yeah, but it's a big time save though.
Yeah.
It's in the water.
And we're through. That
Which is ironic because the hard part is like saves 10 seconds, but the easy part saves minutes. It's so weird.
okay.
About that hot
So
spring.
now we are in the hot
Is that
springs.
some
This is
kind of
basically an
ancient
auto
magic shit going on
scroller
there?
with a very. It's not a difficult trick, but it is a very punishing trick if you mess it up. At the end of this like lazy river section here,
no shitty rituals,
you're supposed
dancing
to
in
get off
circles
the
or
raft,
stupid-ass crystals?
and you're supposed to go do 3 different arena fights, which totals to like 8 minutes or something like that. However, if we just instead very quickly get off the raft, do some parkour, and get back on the raft, we can hit the trigger.
So
That
basically, it's like a
is
trip
like
to
after
Vegas.
the 3rd arena fight. And we were looking for so long. This probably, to keep in mind for context, many of the tricks were found within like the first days and like maybe a week or 2. Just ride the raft, which is the trick that we're about to do here. Took maybe a month and a half, which is very long for this game, considering how quickly it got broken. But we were looking for so long for like, different out of bounds that you can do like from the start or from, if we can just skip one of the arenas, that would be awesome. And literally 83 was like, what if we just got off the raft and got back on? And so that's why it's called Just Ride the Raft, because that's what we're about to do. All right, I need to focus.
No way I'm squeezing through that. Need to
And
find
because
another
this is
way.
an auto scroller, there's a
Nice.
point where
So
Very good.
there's an
Yeah,
arena
it's
here.
easy.
There's an arena here, and then also there's a giant arena here. This one takes like a few minutes, like 4 minutes, like that. But yeah,
skip the whole thing.
we're just ride the raft. That's what the strat is. Just ride the raft.
Koji's resurrection.
Yeah, so
Looking
when,
for all
when I
this
was learning
complex
to
out of
run,
bounds and gotta get up back on the raft.
I don't remember if I told you this story. So when I was learning the run, Sin was in my chat,
This
and I
isn't
was
the right
watching
way,
him.
Hoji.
I was watching his version of the run, and was like trying to mimic what he did. And there was a point. There's a point during the raft riding section where he jumps
You know, all this
off of the
constant
raft,
negativity is not healthy.
does a whole bunch of parkour out of bounds, and then jumps back on the raft. And keep in mind, this is an auto scroller, and so I was like, does that save any time? Or no, I said, how much time does that save? And he said 0.0
How is any of
seconds.
this my fault?
And dude
How
just
could I
jumped
be
out of
stupid
bounds and
an
ran
idiot?
around just to
You
show
stupid
off.
idiot.
I was like, you little butt munch.
it's just like I'm bored, so I'm gonna do this out of bounds. That doesn't save or
Basically,
lose
yeah. I
any
mean, that
time.
section's really boring. So.
Yeah, so there's an arena here, and as per usual, just gonna go off to the side. I'm gonna land on this little bit. Here, there is a death trigger that I had to avoid there. Yo. And that's okay. Get up this side. Easy, and now we have this gorgeous sunset to look at as we just dash out of bounds.
And run to the exit trigger.
Yeah, pretty
I
much.
think as we get to this exit trigger, I think this would be a good time. Crazy Tone Stock, if you have anything, or Crazy Tone Dog, sorry, if you have anything to read out.
This one looks
Of course.
Put the egg
So
in
this
the
event, we are raising money to write love on her arms.
dragon
To write love on her arms is a non-profit movement dedicated presenting hope and finding help for people struggling with depression, addiction, self-injury, and suicide. So make sure if you have the money you want to donate, to go donate. It's a great cause.
Turn them on.
Okay, so yeah, right here I'm doing something that's called the wall climb. Unfortunately, this is FPS. Although I'm not struggling with FPS right now, I'm just struggling with skill. but you do need about 80 FPS or so to do this, so this trick is not possible on console. But I'm just climbing a little seam here to get on top of the barrier, and then we're just gonna jump this way. Boom, and we've skipped pretty much the entire level. We're gonna go to the final arena, which also has its own skip, which is Dane's favorite skip in the entire game.
Yep.
Can't do it in style.
This is my favorite.
Why bother? Let's blast
Oh no, I'm blocked.
No, you're not. Just slide underneath the vines. I just think that's so funny that they left a hole in the vines. You could literally just slide underneath it and skip the whole thing.
I honestly
hell
think
is-
that it's intentional.
Why'd you
I
run?
think there's a lot of stuff that the
Really?
developers have just left in intentional.
That hurt.
There's just
But they've gone out of their
This
way
jungle won't
to
take prisoners.
screw over some strats for the speed run. So I don't know if I buy that.
I don't think so, because I mean everything's still viable current patch. There's things that have changed, but there's nothing that's like no longer possible.
Well,
Like even
Yeah,
like
but
for
there were
world
things-
record, like you still run on current patch.
yeah, but I mean they changed some stuff around in ways that was like, okay, did that need to be changed around for optimization purposes, or were you trying to screw over a
Yeah,
strat?
there
or
is
whatever?
there is some stuff that has become slower, but then also like on the same patch they would introduce things that were faster. For instance, there's a trick in I think it's 12-1. Yeah, 12-1.
Okay,
Called
Wang,
Fuster
think this
Cluck.
through. What would
It's not actually called that, but we'll call it that.
We'll call it
and,
that for the marathon.
and that trick on current patch is about 30 seconds faster than it was on older patches.
Is it that much? I
Yeah,
didn't realize.
it's huge.
I have some donations here if there's time
Absolutely.
right now.
Yeah, go for it.
So we have a $25 donation from Dumb Didium
Yo.
with no message attached. Thank you very much. And we have a $10 donation from a tea tree saying, because everyone needs more wing in their life, here's to a great Shadow Warrior 3 run. Thank you very much.
So yeah, that's probably the best example of like classic wall boosting that you will see in this game, because that wall is really long. So yeah, me jumping off and back onto it, it's not just for, you know, the funnies. It is faster because you're faster on the entering state and the leaving state of wall. Holy crap, I actually landed on that. I'm cracked at this video game, I swear.
Sometimes.
This one's actually like not bad.
This really isn't a bad run. You're
That
actually
actually looks like a
kind of
good
killing it.
vantage
You just have the weird thing in
Yeah, I should
Vision
be able
2.
to see everything from up there.
So yeah, you do a quad jump there. There's supposed to be a grapple point that is released when you do the fight, but if you quad jump, you can reach the second grapple point and skip the fight entirely, and that's how you get to that's how you get to there.
Yeah,
You're
once
going
again,
to
the
turn his light
developers are
force
like,
into a fucking
if we
I'm sorry if I wasn't
if we don't enable this first grapple until they complete the fight, they won't be able to skip the fight. Yeah, just kidding. We have quad jump. We don't
I
need
think
the first
QA
grapple.
missed the quad jump thing entirely.
So he did. Reverse the power on his
It feel funny. If we're doing Wang jokes, I can't wait till we get to near the end of the run and we have Wang Fuya skip.
Oh yeah, there's like names for all the different like strats and stuff. I totally like. There's been so much to talk about that I just totally forgot. But yeah, we have some good ones. I named. I don't know. I don't really know how to feel about it because I named like a bunch of the ones in chapter 12, but then also like 83 found so much better versions. So I don't know if I should still call them the same thing.
I mean, if it's the same skip but a different setup, then you know it's still the same skip.
That's why you think you're.
Yeah, right now we're in. I think this is 9-2, so we're getting fairly close to the end of the run. Chapter 12, however, is quite long. There's 3 different parts to chapter 12.
Zilla! That dragon
Yeah,
is trying to
late
freeze
game
my
has got
balls off.
a lot of arenas.
Yeah, like before like all the skips and stuff that we found in chapter 12. I remember my 80% time for the whole chapter, like across the 3 different
I
parts.
tell
It
you,
was
the
like
moment I
25
find him,
minutes.
he's gonna be sorry he ever lied to me.
Wow.
Now it's like I think it's like 13 minutes, 14 minutes for all 3 parts. So we've saved lots and lots of time. Granted, my combat is not the best. I'm sure Rytro's all arenas time is it's much better than 25 minutes.
Fucking Hoji!
Roger's actually watching right
makes
now,
me so
shaking his head
angry,
in
and I hate being
disappointment
angry.
at his combat
For
skills.
one thing,
So.
it makes my hair
Rytro's
fall
like
out.
25 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, that was wow. Okay.
How
I
did
don't
you
know.
save that? What?
I don't know. All right, speaking of
I-
terrible combat skills, here we go. This is the one big arena that we have to actually fight in. And this
Yeah,
is definitely
the big fight.
yeah, this is a big
Zap,
difference
pew,
maker
pew.
between
I
like
just
you know,
killed the
world
shit out of
record
you.
and second, third place.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can gain and lose a lot of time on this fight depending on how you know
Spin me right
how
round, baby.
easily everything kind of gets into your crosshairs.
Like a record, baby.
And yeah, if I miss, it's the crosshair's fault. It's not mine. Oh my God! I just got Get Down, Mr. Presidented by a dead body.
Oh yeah, Gibbs have collision because that's something that developers for some reason put in the game. I don't know why. But yeah, you can get gibbed by a or you can get blocked by a gib and that's have a lot of problems. So I guess now that we're doing the combat section, we can like talk a little bit more about the combat design of the game. So you'll notice how there's a lot of weapon swapping. That's just kind of par for the course now with a lot of first-person shooters. And it was sort of pioneered by Doom 2016 and then sort of re-pioneered by Doom Eternal. And one of the things that I noticed almost immediately in booting this game up for the first time was how very, very similar the combat design is in this game to Doom Eternal, where you have a very limited ammo supply and you're expected to refill it on fodder enemies, which are the really small ones, and use that ammo refill to take down the bigger enemies. And so the smaller enemies will infinitely respawn while you use them as basically walking ammo caches to take down the big enemies. So you really want to focus on the big guys first and let the smaller guys just kind of be there as backup to refill your ammo if you need them for whatever reason.
Okay, so I'm not supposed to be able to walk with this little guy, but if we pause and unpause the game, which is a little bit different from how the weapon one worked earlier, which was using the weapon wheel, we could just walk with it, and I don't know why, but I am more than happy. Actually, that was one of the things that they changed. On the older patches, you used to be able to use the weapon wheel like walk trick with the Tanuki, but then they removed that for some reason, and we can just use escape instead. But yeah, I don't know.
You didn't go for the jump there.
I've never gotten that jump. I'm so bad at it. It's hilarious.
I think you got it once by like random chance, but yeah, it's a really difficult jump. So if you watch the cutscene, you get the context around that. Basically, you're parachuting into the arena, and if you hold forward and I don't know, get really lucky, you can land on the next platform over, and you don't have to wait for that animation to play out before you land there. But it's really, really tight, and it only saves maybe a couple seconds at most, and if you miss it, you fall out of the arena, you void out, and you get respawned back in, which is a time loss.
Yeah, so right now we're navigating around all of the arenas across this entire level. And now we're on the final, like, auto-scroller section. So the unfortunate thing about skipping to this section is we have no checkpoints from, like, that very first arena that we were in. So if I fail at any point during this auto-scroller section, we have to go all the way back. So we're going to hope that that doesn't happen.
Luckily, this is pretty easy. I don't think I've ever seen anybody fail.
I failed it in practice earlier today.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. But it's okay.
Well, I woke up late, so.
It's called skill buffering. You fail everything once so that you don't fail. So you don't fail it during the marathon.
I'm borrowing that. That's funny. Yeah, this level I think is run in, or no, it was the last level that's run inbound. This one skipped the one arena to get to here, and therefore skip all the checkpoints. But yeah, I think the last level is the only one that's run entirely inbounds, if I'm not mistaken.
Midnight Snack is run inbounds.
You
feel like
have
there's
to
a
help me.
couple,
I don't know the names of the
Oh,
levels.
Midnight Snack
I'm
is
just-
chapter 11, which should be the next one.
Okay.
So right now we're on the Fast and the Furry, which is obviously a Fast and Furious reference, and this is chapter 10, and the next one is Midnight Snack, which is chapter 11. Okay, and there's a massive wall boost that you can get accidentally here, which can kill your run. If you get like a really good one, you can hit the final trigger. But I've had it before where I was 2 minutes ahead of my like PB, and I got a wall boost there, like a really good wall boost, but it wasn't quite good enough to like reach the trigger, and so I I died and got sent back like 3.5 minutes.
And in case you're wondering, yes, that is a dragon.
Yes.
It's a big old dragon.
Yeah, so if you didn't notice, in the very first level we were on the dragon's back, and basically the entire goal of the game up to this point has been to try and get back to the dragon. That's the entire game pretty much so far. And then spoiler alert, we're gonna get onto the dragon and then into the dragon.
Maybe not worse than that.
Whoa, really?
Or that.
Oh wait, I knew that. Never mind.
The walls in this level, by the way, are really janky, so I'm not going to be doing too many wall boosts unless I really... Oh, that was a good one, actually. Unless I feel really confident that I'm not going to lose. But yeah, like, some of them just won't snag you out of the air, and you just don't enter a wall run state, which is really unfortunate. I don't know what makes some of these ones different from, like, wall runs in the rest of the game, but... They're
Just weird geometry.
Yeah, okay. Look, let me teach you something about humanity. Lesson
Do you
1.
have dash on spacebar?
Nope,
Don't
it's
ever
on
want
shift.
to lose it.
Oh shit. Okay.
All is
I have
never
nothing on
lost
spacebar, actually.
Keys.
because there's always hope.
You have nothing on spacebar?
Am I smacking the crap out of it? I'm bad.
Yeah, you can hear it on your mic.
My bad. That's with a noise gate, by the way, everybody. I am notoriously awful for like spamming the crap out of shift or spacebar for various actions in various games. I've been told that many times by my stream chat. I have to consciously be aware of, okay, don't smack the crap out of the shift.
They just don't run Darksiders. Every year, poor defenseless spacebars are destroyed during Darksider any percent runs. I remember asking Henny, like, is your keyboard okay? After he ran Darksiders at GDQ because he destroyed his spacebar. And he's like, I'm not even hitting it that hard.
If you don't catch the dragon, we're all done for.
Yeah, these, the next 5 or 6 wall runs can just, like, knock me off if they really want to.
Bastards! They're always operating out of fear.
Not
And
really.
we're good.
Fear means
Oh,
that you
good.
care,
No
Hoshi.
problem.
I thought I lost my mojo because I didn't have anyone to fight for. Now,
It was
even
simply
Zilla's
a
left in the
skill
game because
issue,
he knows if
I
I don't
suppose.
Maruko's gone.
Oh, is a skill issue with you?
Big truth. I have no idea what kind of pace this run is, but it's like not bad. Like it's probably sub 50. I think. I should have had last one. No, I should have.
I was in live split open just in case I get another gold.
Yeah,
All right.
me.
So
Low
yeah,
end.
this is chapter
I'm on a
12-1,
Dragon's back in
which
operation.
is
Murder this ugly motherfucker is
intestinal.
up.
Or chapter 12 is called Intestinal Inspector. But yeah, it's split into 3 different bits. Treat them separately.
And you have to do that fight because if you don't, these vines don't break
Actually,
free, and if
there
you
is
try
an
to
out
jump
of
past them,
bounds that
well, but you
skips
void
all
back
this
out.
stuff. I don't remember
wait, don't you-
exactly. I forget exactly how 83 does it, but you can skip all these fights and it saves like 15 seconds or something.
Oh, interesting. I didn't. That didn't used to be the case. It used to be that if you try to go past that guy without fighting, you void it out. What happened there?
I have no idea.
That was weird.
The ice is a little slippery, I guess. Also, there's supposed to be an animation here, like with like a little superhero landing. If I just like dash and jump over the trigger, I just don't have to play it. So, also depending on my speed, the next arena may be like multiple layers. No, okay. I kind of wanted to show that off, but it's okay. The loading of this dragon is really interesting. Basically, like if you're far away from something. It'll like combine multiple layers of the dragon, and we're gonna actually use that for this next trick because we're not
It's gonna
supposed to
look really weird, by the way.
Depending on how I do it, yes.
Well, yeah, but I mean, every time I've seen this done, it's the dragon's clipping through a surface.
So you can do this from any angle, but I like to wait until the arm is sort of like at the lower part. So yeah, now we're going through the various layers, and I'm looking for a red health orb. Oh, I'm in a weird spot right now. There we go. And I hit a checkpoint, and we're gonna load the checkpoint just to reset the layers. And that was the first part of Buster Cluck. I need to really make sure that I'm not saying the actual name. There's another wall climb that we're gonna be doing here. This is a continuation of the same trick. There we go.
This is Fuster Cluck skip, and this skip, I mean, the very first part of the skip skips a fight that I swear I think is like 5 or 6 minutes long.
Oh yeah,
it's
like Buster Cluck saves
endless waves.
maybe 8 minutes. Like it's huge.
Yeah, it's a giganto skip. But I was so happy when you found it because it skipped the very first arena that like where you start the trick off in, because that fight is enormously long. It's like endless way. It's like a gauntlet. Oh yeah, this is fun. So here, you notice how Wang is covering his eyes because he's scared of the dragon. But the reason for why they're doing this from a developer perspective is they're trying to actually relocate you to a different part of the map, and so they cover you up so you can't. They cover your eyes so you can't see that they're moving you. They move you. I think it's 20,000 units away.
It's quite far. I think it's like 2,000, but yeah, same stuff.
Yeah, and you normally run like something like 100 units at a time, so they move you really, really far away, and they cover your eyes up to like hide that fact. I just think that's hilarious.
But yeah, if they didn't have that like teleport thing, we could probably skip all the way to the end. But because it teleports you thousands of units away, it's not really something we can reach by normal means. So we kind of have to just skip to the teleport thing, let it teleport us, and then play this.
I'm about to jump into the gaping maw of an ancient dragon.
Yeah, this isn't
Let's
Doom
switch
where you can
places
just
and
rail
see how
boost.
ancient your ass is, you little fart.
I know you're
Just skip
facing
a boss.
imminent death, but that's no reason to be rude.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the more impressive
Okay,
things
guys,
about this game is just
I'm
how
gonna do something
massive
really
some of the
stupid.
levels are.
But I want you to remember it as something really grave. You got that?
Yeah, this game spent a very long time in development compared to some of its counterparts.
Wang, even though our partnership wasn't a pleasure, it was
And even in spite of that fact, it's a pretty short game casually.
Godspeed.
It is.
I think you, me, and Rights all beat it in one sitting.
Yep, I did my first playthrough on hard. It took me about 8 hours because I died. I spent about 2 hours in the final level because I died. But yeah, like if you're playing on like a regular difficulty, or if you're very good
My
at
name's
playing
Lo
on
Wang,
hard
and I'll be a
difficulty,
new
you can beat
dentist.
this game in like 5 hours for me.
Yeah, I think I played on hard as well my first playthrough, and I think I beat it in 5 hours. So I think that's definitive proof that I'm a better gamer than you. Just
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Find the heart of this
So
beast
this is
and
12
blow it.
now we're inside the dragon.
Yep.
Too, before I end up
We are
dragging you.
inside the dragon now.
If you're familiar with the Black Mesa 80% speed run, or I mean, well, not even necessarily a speed run. There's a level in Black Mesa called Interloper. I've named this Interloper in my splits because it's very similar. Even some of the skips are kind of similar to how Interloper is done in Black Mesa.
Whoa. That must be the heart. Look at the
Yeah,
size
most
of
people
that
just
sucker.
have inside the dragon.
And I didn't think this asshole had one. Time to break it.
So this is my favorite named skip. Not my favorite skip, but my favorite skip name in this level. We call it Wang Fuya skip, and the reason for that is because when we do the skip,
Hold on, it's coming out.
Wang's gonna say a joke.
It's in?
Yeah.
Hello, boys. Guess you never expected to find a wang this far up your ass, huh?
I had to pause the game, and just because I was laughing so hard after that line when I played this for the first time.
Aquarium, it's the big fish.
Yeah, so that's Wang Fuya skip.
Aquarium.
FUYA stands
Aquarium.
for, you know,
Do you eat?
the thing that was just said.
Like I'm on my own now.
Far up your butt.
Yep. And then I forget. This one is Wang Bang, I think. And
disgusting,
with
isn't
the
it?
version that I initially found, so I found the first version of Wang Fuya, and then 83 found a better version. And same thing with this Wang Bang. I found a version that goes around sort of the outskirts, and 83 found this version,
Okay, here we
which
go.
is much
You
better.
swallowed the wang? Now comes the
Oh, I
bang.
actually haven't seen that version.
And yeah, once again, we call it Wang Bang because of because of the voice line that he says there. You swallow the wang, now here comes the bang. Thus, Wang Bang was born.
I gotta say, Mike Mo did a great job playing Lo Wang.
Yeah, and who else? Who else has he played? Someone famous, maybe?
Mike Mo played Bruce
shit, am I
Lee
closing
in
in on the
the
dragon's butthole?
Quentin Tarantino
I sure
movie
the hell hope
Once Upon a
not.
Time in Hollywood.
The one.
So he's got comedy experience because he was like the major comic relief of that movie.
Also, that was
so
a
when he-
crazy wall boost. Holy crap! I just got like
Oh, I missed it.
I went through that ton of like Mach 5.
Oh
Imagine the
shoot,
amount
I'll have to
of
watch
food
the
this
bottom
thing
of
needs.
that.
No wonder it's flying around.
But yeah,
eating everything
he
in its
played
path.
he played Bruce Lee. He
If
was
its
like one of the
blood
comic
sugar
reliefs in
drops,
that
it'd probably
in that
be
movie. And
super
so when I heard he was going to play Lo Wang in this, I was like, oh, I'm in. I'm 100% in because dude's a great
Lo
actor.
Wang's log, start
Super
date.
funny.
Oh, this is
4
interesting as
minutes
well.
into the dragon's guts.
So right there, Lo
No
Wang
one laughs
says
at my fabulous jokes.
started about 4 minutes into the dragon's guts. Fun fact: we are about exactly, you know, if we're on a good pace, which I think we are, we're about 3 minutes and 50 seconds into the guts. That being, you know, inside the dragon as well.
Cannon
That's
slash
two.
laser slash giant
However,
disaster.
when you're playing
Lo
casually, it
Wang's
takes like
survival guide,
15
hit
minutes
234.
to get to that point.
don't know what it
And
is?
so that's
Shoot
another
it.
thing where I'm like, is that like a nod towards speedrunners? Like you would not be, that voice line would not be accurate unless you were
That's some
speedrunning.
nasty shit.
So it's just
I
another like,
think- I think it's just kind of an accident. I don't think they maybe pieced that together super well. But I have
it would be a, yeah.
Meta has gone on record before saying Lo Wang is a speedrunner confirmed canon because of that line. So
Exactly.
Maybe I can use it to destroy that.
All of
freakishly
this
big
is
heart.
how you're meant to be playing the game.
this is also a somewhat tricky skip.
Oh yeah, so that arena right there is called the Tri-Wave Arena. It's massive, and it has 3 separate waves. I think it took me like 10 minutes to beat that fight, like when it was, you know, like routed in. But now we can just skip it. It's like huge, giant skip. Oh, almost. So you can actually like navigate around the rock to hit the trigger delayed a bit there, and then do a quad jump to the next rock and skip that thing like sending you backwards. I've never been very good at it.
Yeah, but you've never been very good at most things.
This is true. This is very true.
Hippity hoppity, motherfuckers!
Except this run has been going so much better than any of my practice runs, which is hilarious.
Yeah, that's interesting because I've commentated this run for you for like 2 other marathons, I think, and both of those had like really bad stuff in them.
Yeah.
And now we're already here. This is the final boss, by the way. So yeah, so we enter the dragon like Bruce Lee, and then we don't get to fight the dragon. The dragon's not the final boss. We have to fight not even the dragon's heart. It's not even the final boss. We fight the guardian of the heart. That's the final boss.
I mean, technically, in the cutscene, we kill the heart. If you think.
Yeah, I guess, but like it's not. You're not fighting it. Like that's the thing. Like I wanted to fight the dragon as the final boss, but we didn't get that. So yeah, Giganto Eyeball is obviously the weak spot, so you gotta aim for that. I think it's kind of like obvious for gamers. The nice thing is for that section where the heart's on the ground before it gets elevated like that, a bunch of eyes pop up, and if you throw a nade at one of them, you can usually get an AoE effect on the other ones and break a bunch of them at once. 50 at a time.
I'm also, so these things give you like a damage boost, and I'm actually using those instead of the grapple points to launch myself upwards, so that I can reach the other like weak spots on the other side of the guardian. Saves a little bit.
It's faster.
Yep.
God, this fight's like comically easy on easy mode.
Yeah. Not that I just almost died or anything.
Hey man, I played this on hard for my first playthrough, and I died here a bunch.
Oh yeah, me too. It took me a long time.
I'm saying it's easy by comparison.
Oh, definitely. Okay, there we go. Time is coming up, by the way. We'll be entering a cutscene. I got 2 more tricks to do in the final seconds of the run here. And I'm gonna jump, and I'm gonna hit this grapple right above me. Skipping a couple wall runs and a couple grapples. Time is coming up in 5, 4, 3. There's time. I was a little off with my countdown, but that's time right there.
Your counting is bad.
It is. I was like, when should I start the timer or my countdown? I was a little off, but it's okay.
My guy, RTA, that was 50-19.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good for an for RTA.
So
that is not bad.
In-game time, that's probably like a 48, which I'm pretty sure is my best run at a marathon ever. Which is hilarious because I'm gonna be full transparency here. I didn't start practicing this game until this morning. I hadn't played Shadow Warrior in maybe 2 months. And I started my practice this morning, so I am very pleased with that run.
Definitely not bad at all.
Yeah, so I guess while we have this cutscene playing out here, once again, if you found that run interesting, please join our Discord. It's linked on the speedrun.com leaderboard. You'll notice that leaderboard has not a lot of runs on it, because this game is horribly underrated and underrated. So if you like it, pick it up, run it. I'll admit our resources are a little out of date. I'm going to work on that. But if you would like to join our Discord, then you can message in there. We'll have people at all times of the day pretty much. And we can answer any questions you have. We'd be more than happy. We just taught someone like not that long ago the run. So yeah, anything else you'd like to say, Dane?
Just shout outs to 83, Sin, and Rytro for helping to pioneer the run and get the leaderboard where it was and turn this run into what it is. This run is really, really fun to watch, so big shout outs to them. And shout outs to Meta for also being a co-moderator with us.
All right, that's it for me. Thank you very much, FTLG, for having me on. I'll be back on as a host in about 11 hours.
Look around.
I'll be hosting for 3 hours, and then I have an Alpha Prime run, which Dangerous will also be joining me for. So you can look out for that, and yeah, enjoy the rest of the marathon, folks. Take care.
And a broke-ass ex-billionaire, huh?
Yeah, thank you very much. Coming up next, we have Viper Racing with Ridge Racer 5 Grand Prix Easy on the PlayStation 2, so make sure you stick around for that.
A team player.
We talked about.
When sadness curls itself at the foot of your bed.
When grief finds home in the basement of your chest.
When your heart's garden swears it cannot grow here.
When the day feels too heavy, when the balcony is a thieving distraction.
When the drawers in the kitchen siren to you.
When the night is as heavy as an anchor and you cling to your own shore, remember, you are the ocean.
A single drop in a child's hand
that can hold up a ship when you make a mistake.
When you misstep or misspeak.
When you find yourself underneath the stains of your human.
Because you are human.
When the heavy of it all calls to you like a wailing animal.
Remember, there is nothing wrong with you.
There is everything significant about you.
From your shoulders to your shins.
From the galaxies in your irises
to the orchestra in your throat.
When the friends seem so few.
When the phone doesn't ring.
When it does, but you are too afraid to answer.
Too afraid you are too quiet or take up too much space. Remember, your name does not begin
or end
in silence.
Your story is not over. There are still chapters in this book.
There is still time to fall in love.
To fall out.
To shatter and mend.
To forgive and be forgiven.
Keep reading. Crown your failures.
Scream, I am worthy. Until the stars collapse upon your brilliance.
No, if depression is the verse,
then hope is the chorus. Allow yourself to exist in this melody.
Even if the instrument of your body is tired of playing.
Self-love is not selfish. It is the mantra of someone who recognizes where they have been and where they need to go.
Find your love in the lake.
See how it ripples, how it continues. It is the earth's way of saying you are important, you are endless, be good to you.
Tell yourself, I deserve the keep.
I deserve to love and be loved. I deserve the whole show, the encore, the darkness that falls like a curtain and the morning that will always follow will be the voice that sings behind you.
The receiving end of a phone call.
No, you are not alone.
No, you are not broken.
We will run forward to greet you, and together we will dance like wildfire because there is reason to celebrate. We will finally be.
I will see you tomorrow.
I will see you tomorrow.
We'll see you tomorrow.